Okay, so I've never been a fan of VYM, which is Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, even though I'm a huge dividend fan and income investor. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why that's the case, and you guys can chime in the comments and let me know your thoughts on VYM. So when it comes to the basics, over the past 1 year, the price change is only minus 0.44%. And considering the overall market, that's actually pretty good. And over the past 5 years, it appreciated 33%. Now we're going to take a deeper dive into the performance in a minute, but this is my first point of concern with VYM. 5 years and 33% isn't that great, even considering it's a conservative dividend income ETF. And speaking of the income, the dividend yield is currently around 3%. In fact, here's an entire history of the starting yield of VYM, and it's pretty consistently in this 3% range. Now, it needs to be said that VYM is a very high quality and pretty solid overall investment. In fact, I would say its biggest strengths are that it's Vanguard, so the expense ratio is one of the lowest in the business, 0.06, and the approach is that broad market index approach. So VYM offers a diversified, conservative approach to high dividend yield in a low-cost wrapper. Firms are ranked by forecasted dividends over the next 12 months. Those in the top half are selected. Stocks that make the cut are weighted by market cap rather than dividends. And that's it. That leaves VYM very well diversified. We can see that the largest sector is less than 20%, and there's a total of 446 holdings. The issue that I personally have always had with VYM is that, yes, it's high quality, but it's in a very competitive field full of other high quality dividend-focused ETFs. So here we have a list of the most popular dividend ETFs in the market, and VYM currently is ranked number 2 in terms of the assets under management. And then over here in this column, we have the current dividend yield. As we saw with VYM, it's currently roughly 3%. But then when it comes to other names like SCHD, this is also extremely high quality, and it has a similar dividend yield. If you want to go in a slightly different direction, DGRO is more growth oriented with a focus on dividends still, and the yield is in the 2% range. And then finally, names like SDY, also extremely popular with a similar dividend yield. Now let's go ahead and take some of these names that have a similar dividend yield and see how the price performance has been against VYM. So let's begin with SDY. This has an almost identical dividend yield to VYM at the current moment. We can also add DVY, which is the iShares Select Dividend ETF. And this actually has a slightly higher dividend yield than VYM. And over the past 1 year, DVY has done significantly better than VYM and even SDY. And if we zoom out over the past 5 years to get a broader view, again, we can see that VYM really isn't bringing anything special to the table. So the best performer in terms of appreciation is SDY, and this has an almost identical yield to VYM. And then down here, DVY has almost the same returns as VYM, but the dividend yield is more with this option. And to back up my position here, I found this article on Seeking Alpha, which is titled VYM, I own it, but I'm not as impressed as I once was. He says things like VYM is a quality fund that has provided respectable returns, but then he goes on to say that while it's a perfectly good fund, it's not best in class in any category. A bit further down the article, he says, looking at the top 10 holdings, you find nothing but blue chips from the Coca-Cola Company to Procter & Gamble, and VYM does a great job spreading out the capital and not concentrating on a single sector. And the ultimate conclusion is that VYM has become a middle-of-the-road investment within my ETF basket, not excelling in appreciation or dividend income. So what do you guys think of VYM? Do you currently invest in it? And how do you think it stacks up against all this competition within the dividend ETF space? Again, I want to reiterate that VYM is a high-quality investment. It's passive, very low fees, and it's broad market in nature. But when it comes to price appreciation or the dividend income, none of it is really stellar. That's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you didn't, still watching, I appreciate a like. Go ahead and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.